To give you the best list, I watched all these videos for you and read hundreds of their comments. This way I can give you a true top 5 common mistakes list that kill small channels. And not only that, I will later point out some of the tips that I think are plainly wrong and also some tips that I think are not mentioned often enough because they really make a difference for small channels like you are. Alright, most common mistake number 5. Not engaging with your viewers in the comments. They can tell you what they like and what they need. For example, this one from a similar video. Finally something from a different perspective and not just copy and paste stuff. Which motivated me to not only do the top 5 tips, but also the bad tips and those that are not mentioned often enough. Engaging with your viewers in the comments has an effect on all kinds of different things that are required for successful channels. And the very first step to get the ball rolling there is to ask your viewers a simple yes and no question. And in case you are curious, here are the steps that follow in order to build up the conversation. Most common mistake number 4 is about packaging. By the way, packaging, do you know what it means? Let me know in the comments if that's something you can work with. In other words, it means having a good thumbnail and a good title to win the click. But packaging itself is a word that goes beyond that. But I would say for small channels, it's really important to focus on thumbnail and title to begin with. Because if you don't, people don't click and they don't get to watch your videos, right? And to give you an idea what great thumbnails and titles are, here's a detailed infographic for you. I recommend pause the video right now and read through these examples here. I bet it can really show you all the different directions in which you can go in order to win the click. That said, to make it simple for you how you can create great thumbnails, for example, when I designed the thumbnail for this video, I had a look at all these videos and picked the best parts, like these faces here, a broken YouTube logo, and some bold text. And this is the result I came up with. Most common mistake number 3 is having dull topics or doing no research to actually have great video topics. It makes sense, right? If you have a dull topic, then you can't even do a great thumbnail to win the click, because no one really is interested in that topic. And again, no viewers, no motivation for you, and your channel will die, to say it bluntly. But how do you come up with great video topics? Well, it's all about knowing what your viewers want to watch. And for that, the simplest way to figure that out is to look at the large channels in your niche, because they already figured it out. So before you walk, you need to crawl, right? And to look at the large channels is a great way to build up your intuition so that you later can walk yourself and invent video topics that viewers really enjoy. So here are the steps to do that. Create a new YouTube account where you just subscribe to the channels that do similar stuff like you do. And then regularly watch the subscription feed. And over time, you will have a watch history that really tells you which videos interested you the most. Chances are other viewers that watch the same channels are interested in the same videos. And if you want to do the same thing more effectively, check this out. And then most common mistake number 2 is not uploading regularly. You don't have to be super consistent and upload on very exact days, but you have to somewhat publish regularly, in my experience at least every 2 weeks, in order to constantly feed your audience new videos so that they remember you. And also the algorithm remembers you so that the new videos get shown to your viewers. Alright, and most common mistake number 1 is expecting too much too soon. If you lose motivation because you think channel growth should happen much more sooner, well then you literally kill your channel yourself, right? YouTube is a lot of work, but it will really pay off in the end. And all the mistakes I just told you before, if you don't do them, those alone will get you there. I'm sure of that. But I have to point out that there are tips out there that really can mislead you as a small channel. First of all, there's this tip that you have to re-optimize your old videos. Do a new thumbnail, do a new title. And this can produce good results, but this is your effort spent at something where you could invest the same time into better things. This viewer here says it really well. It's a dry effort. So don't sweat your old videos. If they didn't do so well, you learned from them, and with your next video you will do it better. And then I have to say, in the YouTube tips niche, there's a lot of gaslighting, you could even say, going on. That means they try to tell you that there is a danger or a possibility of success that actually does not exist. I don't want to point fingers here, but it is often about the algorithm is changing all the time. It really doesn't. You don't have to keep up with the little changes that may exist. It is often about getting quick results. While that happens sometimes, you can't expect it to happen for you. Remember top 1 common mistake: to expect too much too soon. And then some people try to tell you that you can do this little change and expect huge results. This really doesn't happen, so don't let yourself be misguided. And finally, I have 3 mistakes for you that I think are mentioned way too rarely, but really make a difference for small channels. Number 3 is getting your channel terminated because you infringe copyrights. On my Morningfame tool, many small channels sign up, and I see on a daily basis that those channels get terminated. So if you're using material that you didn't create yourself, please look a little bit into copyright law. After all, you want to create a big channel in the long run that doesn't get terminated suddenly. And then mistake number 2 is having a bad video start, which means that people click your video, see the first few seconds, lose interest, and click off. Hence, your channel doesn't really grow and you lose interest again. And the easiest thing you can get your video start right, just watch similar videos in your niche from other channels, big channels preferably, who figured out how to make a good start, and learn from them. Before you walk, you need to crawl, right? And then finally, mistake number 1 is choosing the wrong niche, in particular a niche that is very competitive. And I think that has to be food for thought for you at this point, because I know most of you choose their niche because they want to create a channel about stuff that they are interested in, right? Is that the case for you as well, that you started like this? But just so you know, if a professional business starts a YouTube channel, and of course also knows a lot about YouTube, then they won't just start a channel that is about the topic they are interested in, but they actually do niche research beforehand so that they know they are in a niche where they can make a difference and the competition is not too high. This is really making a huge difference for how easy or difficult it is to grow in that niche. Of course, I'm sure you already chose your niche, so there's not much you can do at this point. Of course, you always have a certain flexibility, and it starts with understanding your niche. And then you can understand if you are positioned well in that niche, or you might move a little bit left or right in order to position yourself better. Well, I have something for you that helps you get into the thinking that you need for that. Cheers, my friends!